Hola, Susana. ¿Cómo estás? Estás en mute.
Hola Ivonne, buenos días.
¿Cómo estás, Susana? Qué bueno verte por aquí.
Espérate que no te escucho.
Hi, Jenny. ¿Cómo has estado, Susana? Qué bueno verte.
Bien, bien. Bueno, estoy bastante resfriada con una congestión total que ya llevo más de una semana, pero bien. Estoy por Brasil con mis nietos,
Ay, qué
pero
rico.
dentro de todo estoy bien.
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
Creo que todavía no te... Oh, creo que está mute.
Sí.
¿Tú cómo estás? ¿Cómo sigues?
Bien. Gracias a
¿Sí?
Dios. Bien, me siento muy bien. Gracias por preguntar,
Ay,
Susana.
qué bueno, qué bueno.
Hi, Susan. She's connecting right now. So. Jenny, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
Yes, now I can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Great. Welcome to the class.
Thank you.
Hi, Susan.
She's mute, I think.
Let's wait some minutes. Morning, Susan. I see your text. If you have any question during the presentation, you can unmute yourself and do your question. You don't need to wait until at the end of the presentation to do questions, okay?
Okay.
Hi, Dina. Good morning. Welcome.
Mm-mm.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi. Hi, Winsome. Welcome to the class.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, top of the
Buenos
morning.
dias. Good to know about you again.
Yes. I'm going to put my face on for a moment. I am helping out my significant other in his business, so I'm all sweaty and burnt out. So that's why I put that pretty flowers up there. But I'm gonna reach out and say good morning to everyone.
Hi.
Good morning.
Nice to see
Love
you.
love you guys.
Morning. Jean-Pierre Gutierrez. Ah, este es.
Let's wait one more minute and we can start. Let's see. Hi, Ariela.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, Ivonne? Buenos días.
Bien, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, gracias.
Nice to see you here.
Gracias.
Okay, I think that we can start. Okay, let's start. For those who don't know me, my name is Ivonne Ruiz. I'm the manager of the Western office. At the end, I will give you my phone number, my email address, just in case that you have any question, not just about this class, but about anything that you need. I will be more than happy to help you at any time. I have been doing real estate for almost 10 years. I have been 6 years in Brokers LLC. And I'm in charge of the mentorship program with Andreina. So I hope that any moment you can come here to Western to have a coffee with me. Today we're going to talk about the contract to lease. The contract to lease is the offer in a lease process. There's a difference between the lease process and the buy or sell process. When we are leasing a property, we have 2 documents to fill. The first one is the contract to lease, and the second one will be the residential lease agreement. But if we are working with buyers or sellers, the offer will be the contract, okay? This is a difference between this both process. It's not, the contract to lease is not the residential lease, but it's a binding document. Everyone who do initials or sign in the contract to lease has responsibilities under the contract, okay?
Okay.
Sometimes you will find realtors that say, no, but don't send me the contract to lease, just go ahead to the residential lease. No, we can't, because there are some items in the contract to lease that we don't have it in the residential lease. For example, we have additional clauses on the contract to lease, but we don't have it in the residential lease. And I don't know, but let me admit, but we can't do addendums in residential lease, okay? We are not allowed to do addendums in residential lease, just in transaction where we are buying or selling. Okay, the contract to lease is the first step to enter into a lease. I will share my screen. I suppose that most of you work with .loop, right? I will go to my .loop to show you where you can find the contract to lease. We have templates. Once you are doing your loop, or once you create your loop, you can look for this document. But now that I'm not creating a loop, I will show you from the templates. Once I'm on the templates, I go to Florida Interactive Forms, and I can write contract to lease. Here is it, okay? The first thing that we have to know is who is the landlord, who will be signing the contract to lease. Could be a person, could be a corporation, but you need to be sure who will be signing the lease. Sometimes there are realtors who write owner of records, but it's important that you verify who is the owner of records, because if, for example, the owner of record is a corporation, you have to go to Zombies to verify if this corporation is active or not. If the corporation is not active, please contact the listing agent, okay? Because if the corporation is not active, nobody can sign for this contract to lease until they change to active the corporation. It only takes about 2 days. It's not complicated, but they have to do it. Where you can find the information, if we go to Matrix, I have this example. Here we have the folio number. If you do click on the folio number, we go to IMAP and we can see who is the current owner. Here is PhD Development, LLC, see? And if you want more information, here you have the link to go direct to the county. And you can have more information about the property, okay? You also can copy paste some of the information that you have in the public records. Let's go back to our document. Let's suppose that in Zombies, you also can verify who will be signing. Most of the time is the manager in the corporation, but you can read it in Zombies. If we could work with this information, I can do copy paste with this corporation. It's not allowing me to write it, sorry. Okay, and the prospective tenants.
Ivonne, I have a question. Do you
Yes.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to know who, you just said manager. There are a couple of different versions.
Yeah, I say most of the times is the manager, not always. If you can see it in the Zombies, you can request to verify in the bylaws who will be signing. It could cause a problem because if just you receive a contract to lease initialized or signed for maybe one person, and by the bylaws, 2 of the owners of the corporation has to sign to sell one of their active, could be a problem in the future. But it's a recommendation. If not, just write the name of the corporation, but it's important to verify if it's active or not, okay? And you can see it in Zombies. The prospective tenant. Ask your client for their IDs, not only to attach it to the offer, but also to be sure that you are writing correct their names. I received this question many times about the cosigner. We don't have a cosigner option in the contract to lease or in the residential lease. Anyone who wants to be a cosigner will be as a tenant, and we have the same responsibilities than the tenant, okay? Many people ask about it because maybe the couple has not the minimum credit score required by the association, or they don't have the income required by the association, and they suggest to add the father, the brother, anybody else into the lease. In this case, this person will be the one who will be acting as a tenant, and the other persons will be down here, the other person who will be living in the property.
So
But
they're
you-
like an occupant, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna do the background check, the vetting, exactly like the actual, and their name will be on the lease as well, correct?
I did, yes, and I just recommend before you start working with a tenant, it's good to go to, we have tenant spree or tenant where you can do tenant screenings. It's about $29 only, and your client will receive the background check records from the whole nation if they have been evicted at any time. Everything about your tenants will be there. It not only help you to know what to look for your client, but it will also help you to do a more strong offer at the moment. Right now, we are in a crazy market. There are no properties for rent. And if we prepare strong offers, our clients will have more possibilities to be approved, okay? Another thing that I suggest to do is if I see this property, I will try to see if the listing agent says something about the application or about the association requirements. This could help me to don't waste my time or my client's time. For example, if the association only allows dogs below 20 pounds, no more than 20 pounds, and I know that my client has a 60-pound dog, I don't want to show them this property unless that you call the realtor. And but in this case, it's not the landlord who is doing the restriction, it's the association who will not allow a dog of 60 pounds to live in the community, okay? Or maybe your client has a pickup truck and the association doesn't allow a pickup trucks park in the community. So it's very important to read carefully the listing matrix. And if we have any question, call the listing agent, text the listing agent, because you can imagine how many troubles we have after we have an executed contract to lease, an executed residential lease. Our clients pay for an application, and then the association say that they are denied because the pets, because a lot of stuff that we didn't know before. Okay, this date that we have here is the date when our offer will expire, okay? If today is August 26, I suggest to put 2 days, maybe until August 28, to execute the lease agreement. If you read and agree to execute a lease agreement no later than, it means that if they answer today and we are going to prepare the lease, the residential lease, we have until the 28th to execute the lease agreement. Okay. Usually the listing agent is the one who prepares the lease, but it doesn't mean that you as a tenant agent, you can do it. No, you can't. Sometimes the listing agents say that they are very occupied. If you can do it, okay, you can do it. It's not a big deal, but usually the landlord agent is the one who prepares the lease. The deposit. The deposit is the money that we offer to enter into a lease. Usually we put 1 month of rent, but it doesn't mean that your client can offer less or more than 1 month of rent. For example, in this market that we don't have properties for rent, your client could offer more than 1 month of rent. If the lease, for example, would be $2,000, maybe your client can offer $4,000 to make the offer more strong. But if you are the one representing the tenant, you will always want to keep the money at your side to protect your client, okay? In this case, we try to keep it in Brokers LLC. When you receive a check, you can go to JP Morgan Chase. We have the bank account in our desk support. All of you know the desk support, the broker's desk support?
No.
Okay, we have a desk support. It's agents.brokersllconline.com. And we have the app, the same information that we have in the desk support, we have it in the app. I know that some of you was at the Metropica event where we launched the app. You can have your app in your phone. If you need to go to the bank and can remember the bank account information, you go into the app, open the bank account information, and that's it.
What's the website again? You said agents.
It's agents.brokersllconline.com.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. It's an amazing page because you will find a lot of tools there. You have the learning center where you can find a lot of classes that was recorded before. If you want to review the .globe, you want to review KBCO, you want to review the assist residential, the assist contract for sale and purchase, you will find a lot of classes that was previously recorded. You will have a lot of valuable documents that could help you to organize your transactions. I invite you to not only take your time to review it online, but also to download the app in your phone. Okay.
Hi, good morning. I have a question.
Of course.
Is I usually like give the account number to my client and they go straight to the bank to Chase and they made a deposit for a regular check.
Okay, in this case, please ask your client, and we have to do it, all of us. Imagine that Joseph at the closing department receive a lot of checks daily. Just tell your client to please write in the memo, you know, the memo line on the bottom of the check, the address of the property, okay?
No, I get that. That's good. But the question is, if my client wants to do a wire transfer to Brokers LLC, they have to pay $20, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
They have to pay $20.
The $20 is just to wire transfer, not to put in the bank, right?
No, they can go to the bank to do the deposit and they don't pay the $20. Or they can give you the check and you can deposit the check for them. Okay. But if they do a wire transfer, yes, they have to pay the $20.
Perfect, thank you.
But it's important to identify the check, the deposit, because if not, the closing department doesn't know where the check is coming from or for what transaction is going.
Right, I always say, put in the memo the address of the property and your last name.
Yeah, I do like the address / my name. Perfect. And also in the slip deposit. And as soon as I arrive to the office, I send an email to closing department, letting them know that I did this deposit and to what transaction is going on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, when we write the property address, please verify that you include the city and the zip code, okay? Not only the street and the apartment number, no, with city and zip code. If the property will be unfurnished or furnished, you will find it in the MLS. And the property will be used for only residential purposes and occupied by. It's important, suppose that the lease will be done by me and my husband, and I have 2 sons. I have to write here my son's names because the association, when we do the application, the association wants to know who will be living in the property, okay? And remember, all when we have to be approved by association, the associations require that all occupants 18 years old or older must apply, even though they will not be the ones responsible for the lease. About 1 month ago, I had an experience with a community in Pembroke Pines. They request 670 credits, minimum credit score. I put the name of the husband as prospective tenant because he had 740, but I write the name of the wife with the kids as occupants. The wife applied as the husband, and they say that all occupants 18 years or older must have the minimum credit score. It's crazy because they will not be the ones responsible to pay for the lease, but it could happen. I just tell you because it could happen. For me, it has no sense, but because, for example, my son, 21 years old, he doesn't have the enough credit score or has not the income to afford a lease, and they will also be required to have the minimum credit score. Okay, lease term. Remember that we can't do leases for more than 12 months. If we are doing a lease for a year, if the lease begins today, August 26 will end next year, but 1 day before will be August 25th, 2022. Everybody is okay with that? Have any question?
No.
Okay. If the lease ends, the tenant say that the tenant notified to the landlord that they don't want to renew the lease, or the landlord sent a 60-day notice that the landlord will not renew the lease. And in this case, maybe the tenant say, I need 1 additional month because I didn't find anything. You don't need to write another lease. The lease, the residential lease agreement goes to what we call month to month, okay? And both landlord and tenants will be protected for the lease agreement forms. You don't need to write a new one, okay? Okay, money due before occupancy. If you go to the listing, you will see how much will the new tenant have to bring to the table to move into the property. In this case, will be $12,000. And here you can see how they are distributing this amount. First month, 2 security deposits, because the rent is $4,000, but always verify. It's not that I thought that was first month, last month, and 1 security deposit. No, we have to verify what the landlord wants to enter into a residential lease. Then the first month of rent will be, in this case, $4,000, right? And will be due the residential agreement approved, will be approved. Once the residential agreement is approved, we can show that we have the deposit. You can request the deposit letter to closing department in brokers to show to the leasing agent that we have the money, okay? Advance rent. As I told you, in this market that we can't find properties, sometimes our tenants, our clients, wants to offer more than those 3 months, okay? They can offer 2 additional months in advance, 6 months in advance, or even 1 year in advance, okay? Then we write it here. If they request the last month security deposit, we write it here, and security deposit for association. The listing agent must include it if it's required on the broker remarks, okay? Because if your client is paying 3 months, in this case will be $12,000, and the association requests a security deposit of $1,000. It's a lot of money for your client. Even though for a person who is paying $1,000 monthly, it's a lot of money for them to pay $1,000 more. So if it's a must, maybe you have to do it, but you can also try to negotiate with the listing agent. Pet deposit. Remember that there is a difference between pet deposit and pet fee. When you say deposit, if everything is okay at the end of the lease, the money must be returned to the tenants, okay? It's a pet deposit. We can also see it in matrix and the listing, and if we don't see it, we have to call the listing agent to know if they request a pet deposit. If not, leave it in blank. But if they request for a pet fee, you can write it here in other pet fee, non-refundable pet fee if they request in matrix that you need to put a non-refundable pet fee.
I have a question.
They signed the contract to lease and the lease agreement. And the tenants, you know, that I'm working, they she say, I don't have any pet. I say, okay, it's not pet allowed. I already put that, she already put the money in Brokers LLC. The contract to lease, I already sent it to the company. Yesterday, I received the lease agreement, and they say no pet. I specific, you know, I was super clear, no pet. Now in the morning, she called me and say, Mabeli, I have to let you know something. I have a little dog. I was like, you're kidding me, right?
They are out of the contract because they signed that they don't have any pet. And you said previously that you will not allow any pets in the property.
Wow, now I have the problem that I have to call the agent, the listing agent, and she told me no, it's well, the dogs they have a little service dog. It's a service dog. I have the letter.
They need to send you the paperwork. It's different service dog. Because there are some web pages where you can pay $10, $20, and they can give you like a certificate.
She have an accident, that's why she have the service dog. I say, why you didn't say anything? Because we already have the contract, we have everything done. Right now, you know, after finish with the class, I have to call the listing agent to see, because, you know, now I have this problem.
Yeah, you will see something that it's very useful. I will show you. It's maybe in some minutes. I will show you.
For example, if the owner say no pets allowed, everything is canceled, right?
Yeah, but if they have the documents that can show that the dog is trained, because they must be trained service dogs. There is, I will send you an email with
So you can do something for me, because
it's an article. Yeah, it's an article about please send me a text message when we finish the class. I will put my email, my phone number, everything. When we finish, I will put it, before we finish, I will put it here on the chat. Please send me a text message, because there is an article that I saved about 4 months ago between the difference that we can find in a trained dog than an emotional dog. Those are two, service dog and emotional pet support.
pets, because she have an accident and she can be in her house by herself.
And you know why I found it? Because I saw a news on the TV It was crazy. It was very funny, but it was crazy. Because the airlines had a lot of complaints about this situation. And they showed different videos of animals that enter into the airplanes. And there was a pony. Can you imagine a pony inside the airplane? A pony, a pig, a big dog. It's crazy. Can you imagine you be seated beside a pony inside an airplane that maybe you will be flying for 4 or 5 hours? It's crazy. So this is why the airlines start doing like new restrictions and request the correct document. That difference between the service dog and emotional pet support, okay?
Or she said there is emotional pet support,
No, emotional pet support
something like
are
that.
not under the regulations, but you can call the association, receive the answer from, or send an email to the association, receive the answer from the association, and you show it to them.
Okay, thank you.
This is the best way that they can see that it's not because of you, it's because the association or the landlord will not allow this.
Because it's a duplex. It's a duplex.
Because if it's a service dog, cannot be rejected. The service dogs or service animals are not service dogs, because the only service animal is a dog, is the one that was trained to help a person in a disabled situation.
Oh,
Yeah, they have to be trained, they have a certification. It's absolutely different. It's not because I'm stressed and I just have my dog beside me, okay? They say that like a dog will never be a service animal because they are not trained to help maybe the blind person to cross the street.
right. Okay, thank you.
Please send me your text message later, okay? Okay, next, the paragraph 2 deposit. The paragraph 2 deposit is the one that we wrote here, okay? Remember? The same amount that we wrote here, if it's $2,000, 1 month of rent, you can do check mark here and write $2,000 to first month rent. But if maybe your client offered as a deposit 2 months of rent, you can check mark the first one, the second one, but divided the $4,000 as you want, okay? Most of the time you use this first month of rent to pay commissions, landlord agent commission and tenant agent commission. If you are representing the landlord, remember, the tenant, we will have the deposit in Brokers LLC account. Call closing department, send an email to closing department at least 1 week, 10 days before. Remember that they are really busy. Please don't request the check 1 day before, because it will be really difficult to get you the check. But please request the check at least 1 week before, 10 days before, and you have to request it sending the W-9 of the listing agent. Request the W-9 of the listing agent, because it has to be sent it to the closing department, and then Joseph can prepare the check, or if you need the check here in Weston, I can give you the check in Weston if you live near Weston, but we can prepare the check for you, and you can have it for the walkthrough day, okay? Because you need to bring it to the walkthrough.
Okay, so this middle part, the paragraph 2, this is basically breaking down how the deposit will be stated. So can you go up again to the first part where you had the deposit?
Sure. Here, when we talk about the deposit, is the money that we offer to enter into a lease.
Okay,
As I said, usually we put 1 month of rent, but it's
Okay.
you can offer less or more.
okay. So
In this
say,
crazy market, I don't recommend to offer less than 1 month.
so for instance, if you only had 4,000 up here, so you have 4,000 up here. So when you go down there, you're just putting the $4,000, that's just for 1 month.
If the rent, if the monthly rent is $4,000,
Mhm.
write it here to first month rent, for example.
Okay,
But if the rent is 2,000, you are offering as a deposit 2 months of rent.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Any other question? Okay, let's continue. Here. Rent, payment, taxes, and charges. Tenant will pay total rent for the lease term. Here we write the whole year. What will the tenant pay for the whole lease term? If we are offering $2,000, will be $24,000, okay? If we are doing a residential lease for 1 year, the taxes will be 0. We don't pay taxes if the lease is for 6 months or more. If the lease is for less than 6 months, please verify in each city, because you will be paying 2 different taxes. The city taxes and the tourism taxes. In Miami, for example, is 7% for city taxes and 7% for tourism taxes. So it means that if you do a lease for less than 6 months, you will be charging the tenant 14% of the lease. And the landlord will declare at the IRS this income tax. Okay. Then tenant will pay the rent, including taxes, when applicable, as follows. If we say that the lease will start November 1st, will be in monthly on the first day for the amount of $2,000. But if your client will be paying the whole year in full of on the date and the amount. Here again, the pets prohibited, as you said. And if the pet is permitted, just describe it. Maybe 20 pounds shih tzu, I don't know, 70 pounds bulldog. But please write it here. Smoking, I used to put prohibited. I heard once that somebody says that nobody will know if your tenant smoke or not. Believe me, the landlord will notice when the landlord goes to the property for any reason, or when the landlord receives the unit. Because it's hard to take off the smell of cigarettes. Sometimes we have to even paint the walls to take it out. Some question? Oh, Susanna has problems. Okay, let's go to the second page. The number 9 is about utilities. You can imagine how many times I see HOA monthly payments. No, it's not about the HOA monthly payments. This paragraph is about utilities, okay? We can verify which utilities will be included, if there is any, in the listing, okay? So if it's a condo, I'm pretty sure that will include the water, sometimes the cable, sometimes internet, but verified in the MLS. Maintenance. If we are representing the buyer, if you ask your buyer, what do you want to be responsible for? I'm pretty sure that he will say, I don't want to be responsible for anything than the monthly payment. You can leave it in blank, or if you want to get the whole frame, just put an amount, except for repairs under depend of the property. If you are leasing a one condo, maybe you can put $100. But if you're renting a huge house, maybe your responsibilities will be more than $100. Some people always write like AC filters, their refrigerator filter, light bulbs, but basically it's about those could be included on the $100 or less amount. The association approval. Who will pay for the application fee? The landlord will not want to pay for an application fee for a tenant that he's not sure that is going to be approved. This is the reason why always the tenant is the one who pay for the application fee. If your clients are a married couple, they can show that they are married and only pay one application. But if they don't have the same last names or just are living together, I'm pretty sure that they have to do 2 different applications, okay? And each of them has to pay the application fee. You can see the application fee in the MLS also. And here, make application for association approval by, I used to put no later than 5 days after executed date, approval by, and I calculate 5 days. Okay? Because they have enough time to do the application, to get all the documents that the association requests. Sometimes the association call back saying that something is not completed or have any mistake, but then you have like a window, like a time frame to fix anything that could happen in the application. But no more than that, because if you are the listing agent, you want to that the tenant apply as soon as possible to don't waste time. Because if they are not approved, you're having your property out of the market. Here's the part that I told you that we don't have it in the residential lease agreement, the additional terms. It's very important that you use it. Why? Because, for example, I did a showing and I noticed that there was dead cockroach around the property. I'm pretty sure that I will request for a pest control to be done before the moving date. Or if the carpets are really dirty, looks that are not clean, you can request for a professional carpet cleaning. Any request that your client wants to do to the landlord, and that has to be done before they move. Also can happen that landlord right there, that if he needs to show the property at any time, the tenant will allow the access to the property to do showing. It's okay. We also have it in the residential agreement. It's not a big deal. Just use this space for any request that your clients has about the property.
Just a quick question, just to clarify.
Yeah.
On number 11, when you said 5 days, does it matter if you specify, does it have to be business days or just 5 days?
Business days, usually you use by business day.
Okay,
Today, Thursday, will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Your tenants could have until Tuesday to complete the application. Okay, background. It's something hard about the background. Technically, we can only reject a tenant as a listing agent because the background check. If the tenant has a previous crime or it's a sex offender or any situation that the tenant had before, the landlord can reject the tenant. But be careful, please. Be careful about Section 8. Be careful about say that only adults can live in the property, no kids, no children. We can't discriminate anybody, only because the background check. And this is because they could be like a problem on the association, and they will be rejected by the association also when the association see that this person has a background. But you never can reject anybody because they have Section 8 or because they have kids. We can be liable. We can lose our license. Really, it's a big problem about ethic. Service member status. Who is the service member? Is a military, a person who is active as a military member. If you are the listing agent and you receive a contract to lease saying that the tenant is a service member, the tenant agent must send you the proof that this person is a service member. Why? Because if the tenant as a service member receive a letter saying that he needs to move to another state because he needs to be serving in another state, the landlord cannot apply the early termination fee clause, okay? There are no penalties for service members who are being transferred to another city, to another state. But in this case, they need to send the proof that they are being transferred, okay? Number 15, failure to perform. If tenant fails to perform any of the promises of this contract, the deposit paid by tenant may be retained by or for the account of landlord as agreed upon liquidated damages. I will show you something before we end. And it is in the application for the association. Let's go back to number 11. I'm pretty sure that most of you don't know about it, but it's really important. Read here. If such approval, it's talking about the association approval. If such approval is not obtained before beginning of lease term, either party, it means landlord or tenant, either party may terminate the lease by written notice to the other at any time before association approval. It means, for example, if your client say that they want that the lease start in, I don't know, October 1st. They apply before Tuesday for the association. But in September 28, they decide that they doesn't want to continue. Or they say that they found another property where they can move right away, and the association at the moment didn't send the approval. This tenant can be out of the lease, sending a release and cancellation, okay? With no penalties. But could be performed by landlord or by tenant. Just only when the association didn't send the approval yet. Don't send the approval. Do we understand this, class?
Not that much.
Okay.
Because
Imagine the same example that we are doing, that we execute the residential lease today. And the client has 5 days to apply to the association. It means that they have until Tuesday to apply to the association, right? But the lease will start in October 1st.
Mhm.
We have a little more than 1 month to start the lease. But in September 15, your tenant call you and say, Susana, I found a property, an amazing property where I can move right away. I don't need to wait until October 1st. I don't want to lose it. Okay, let's do it. Or my sister told me that I can move with her tomorrow. I want to cancel the lease. If this tenant at this moment didn't receive the association approval,
Oh, I
the
see.
tenant can cancel.
Oh, I
the
see.
lease.
Okay.
But has to be before the association approval. Once
Okay.
the association, you have the association approval, you can get out because your client could lose the deposit.
Okay.
Okay.
One question, Ivonne.
Uh-huh.
But how long does the association usually takes to approve after they receive?
Legally, it's a good question because legally they can take more than 30 days to the approval, and legally the DBPR says that association cannot take more than 30 days, and if they pass the 30 days, it could mean that you are approved. But do you want to deal with the association where you will be living for the next year? Because I'm pretty sure that you will have to send a lawyer, go to court, because they will not give you the sticker for your car to go through the gate, or they will not give you the fob to enter into the pool. It's crazy. Dealing with associations is really crazy. Legally, they cannot take more than 30 days, but it's not easy to deal with association. It's also like the application fee. Legally, they cannot ask for more than $100. But you know how many associations request for 150, 200, 250?
Okay, but let's say the tenant wants to cancel this contract, but he cannot do it in those 3 days, I suppose. He would have to wait at least 3 days to get the approval, and if not, he doesn't get the approval from the association, then he can cancel.
Imagine that your client complete the application. They complete the application. 2 days later, they say that they want to cancel the lease. They can do it.
They can?
Yeah, anytime before the association approval. Landlord or tenant can cancel.
Okay.
Let's read it again.
Not even 3 days, because I mean, it's I assume that they have to wait at least 3 days for the association to send the approval, and if not, then they can cancel, no?
Let's read it again here, number 11. If such approval, it doesn't say how many days, it only says if such approval is not obtained before beginning of lease term. It doesn't specify how many days. Only say if such approval is not obtained before beginning of lease term. Either party may terminate the lease by written notice. This written notice must be a cancellation, a release and cancellation. And after we send the release and cancellation, the money will be returned to the tenant. Okay. Okay. Okay, failure to perform. As I told you, we have two documents, the contract to lease and the residential lease. When we have both, if some provisions some provision cannot be transferred from one to another one, like the additional clauses. They are only on the contract to lease. We can transfer the additional clauses from the contract to lease to the lease. But could be some things that we can add in the residential lease. The residential lease will prevail over the contract to lease, okay? But both complement each other. This is why never assume that you don't need the contract to lease. You need to do both. If you only do the contract to lease, the residential lease, you will have a trouble to receive your commission also. Let me see the questions. And it's possible, Simona, for one to get approved and one gets rejected by the other. Simona, I don't know if I understand the question, that somebody is approved and then rejected by association. You mean approved by the landlord and then rejected by the association? Oh, yes, yes. But if one of them is rejected, both are rejected. Because if one of them doesn't have enough, the minimum credit score or the income, or has a background check issue, the application is rejected, completed. Of course, let me, my email address is Ivonne at brokersllc.com, and my phone number is 954-673-7850. I'm here to help. If you have any question when we finish, or you remember something that you forgot to ask, just send me a text message, an email, or call me, and I will be more than happy to help you. Winsome, everything okay? Belly, Jenny?
Yes, everything's fine.
Mariela?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, thank
What,
you so much.
where is the phone number? I can text you if anything.
I put it on the chat. I put my email and my phone number, 954-673-7850.
We can see, we cannot see it in the chat.
For some reason, I cannot see it either. Yeah, I think maybe you send it to personal someone.
From me? Okay, sorry, let me see.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry. Here's my email address and my phone number. And remember, I'm in Weston, and you can come here anytime if you need me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we will be doing the next step, okay? The residential lease.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and don't forget to go to the desk support. It's amazing.
Yes.
Okay, we'll check it.
In the support is in the app that is in the phone, right?
It's in the app, or you, yeah,
Okay.
and you can download it. You can see it also in your computer.
Perfect.
I use it every time. You can confirm your classes. You can see the calendar classes. You can have documents, information about bank accounts. It's a lot of information there.
That's true. That's good.
Templates. It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really happy to see you today and have a wonderful day.
You do the same. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.